All right, family. You're alive with the general. You already know what time it is. You rocking with the very best at this. You feel me? We got some fire today. And hey, yeah, I think this man right here might got have some fire put on his ass too. And we gonna find out. Uh a lot of people is saying that this might be a hoax. But it's uplifting. I can tell you that. It's a uplifting hoax, if it is. It's allegedly, and people say that it has turned. But let's move into the story. We have a supposed copycat named Chad the Antagagonizer. Now, I believe, because I sent the threat out there, I did. Well, it wasn't really a threat, it was a message. I say, well, the next time, when I was talking about Chud the other day, I say, why don't they, I don't know what's going on in Nashville. Come on to Detroit. Didn't I tell y'all? Ain't that exactly what I said? That's what I said. I said, come on to Detroit. Obviously, somebody saw that video because this is where it supposedly took place in Detroit. I can go play it again. You can just go watch it. So, and I'm thinking to myself, I say, damn, I hope I ain't, through no backpack, regardless, if you're out of line, you're out of line. You feel me? You step out of line, you're out of line. But that's exactly what I say. I say, I don't know what's going on in Nashville, and come on to the D. And I guarantee you, motherfucker, tighten your ass up. Didn't I say that? And now, so when I seen it, I say, oh shit, them niggas in the D must have heard the general say, and pull a wig back. I say, oh, they didn't pull the Neanderthal wig back. But according to the story, it was a elderly black woman, who was pumping gas at a gas station. Say her grandson was in the car while she was pumping. And so this Chad, the antagonizer, supposedly stepped to him and said something like, get your, I don't know whether they call him a chimp or something. You need to get your ass out there, pump the gas, and then say, oh, he aping out and shit and this, that, and the third. And and I don't know if he disrespected, according to the story. And it said that the brother got upset and knocked him out. Got out the car, knocked him out, and put gas on his ass. Put gas on and took a cigarette and set him on fire. This is what the story say. Man, hey man, listen here, man. Hey man, listen. This is a wonderful, you know. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I mean, the man is gifted with whoever was really gifted. You know who did it. It sounds like a Neanderthal, and people gonna get mad. But if it was a Neanderthal, and it's race baiting. It's still race baiting any which way it go. To get people riled up and shit is race baiting. So here it is, but they using reverse psychology, to get black people to, yeah. And people gonna be like, yeah, you got what you deserve. And if you talk to somebody, grandmama, I ain't gonna say you should set nobody on no damn fire, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna tell you, but knocking a motherfucker out is most definitely within the parameters. You see? It's most definitely within the parameters. You feel me? So, and so yeah, set the man on fire. They said, no, I ain't heard none. People I'd have been getting calls from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers, I would have been getting calls and messages from everywhere. Ain't nothing like that gonna go under my radar. I would have been getting calls and messages while the shit was happening. Like, nigga, have you heard such and such? No, I ain't heard, and so but again, it's this race baiting shit. To get people and again, listen, I condone whatever but you got to be careful because these is punks. You know, these is punks. They want to see what kind of reaction. That's all they want. And a lot of times you just had to, you had to be silent sometime. You had to be silent sometime because what they want to do is jar you to move, to say something. You have to be smart enough sometime to stay still. Like, because they you give them the reaction that they want. They want to see if they can, they can move you, and you should have, a few people that will speak on it like the general. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna condone nobody, getting, fired, nobody being burnt alive, for no shit. But a good ass whooping is most definitely in the parameter. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, look at what we back in the day. Two men could just knuckle up. Be a man. Motherfucker if you get whooped, motherfucker, take your ass home. Go to the bar, nigga. Get you a couple shots, nigga. You understand? Take your ass home. Go to sleep. Wake up. Go to work, nigga, and just don't do it again. You know what I'm saying? Just don't do whatever you did. Whatever you did that cost you to get your ass whooped, don't do it again. You know what I'm saying? Just go, that's what it was about. I remember when I was coming up, but see, when I was coming up, yeah, we were still fighting. We were still fighting. Motherfuckers be waiting on your ass as soon as you come out of school. Motherfucker be right out there. I remember having a few fights and shit. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I don't remember losing none neither. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say that, but that's neither this nor that, but that's neither this nor that, but back then. But I was also in that age where it was changing. You know what I'm saying? What niggas thought, it was about that bang bang, It was about that bang bang. So, at that time, even when I was in elementary, that shit had changed. Detroit was already, when I came in the world, nigga, Detroit was already off the chain. You see what I'm saying? It was not no year in my life ever, nigga, where Detroit was anything other than off the chain. Just real talk. But even then, back then, you could, in matter of fact, probably even just not on that level. Elementary, every blue moon you'll hear about something. And was somebody that made, took something to school and made a mistake or did something, but you still could kind of fight. But then when I got to junior high school, oh no, nigga, no. It was on that level that if you whoop the nigga, you liable to nigga get somebody try to creep you around the corner, bust some shots on your ass. So at that point in time, the game had changed. You feel what I'm saying? The game had changed. So I just, but it was, I could see giving a nigga a fair one. I could see giving a nigga a fair one, you know what I'm saying? But again, them days has changed, but I was saying that only to say that if the brother had, and if this is allegedly, I don't condone nobody, I don't condone nobody publicly. I don't condone nobody publicly set nobody on fire. You feel me? Over, yeah. You say first day of high school, somebody got stabbed. Yeah, yeah. That's sad. That's sad. That's sad. That's sad. It was so much shit. I ain't, I ain't gonna say I seen no shit like that, but I seen niggas, nigga. We was It was all I ain't gonna say no more. You know what I'm saying? You would hear about it, but I ain't never seen nobody, until I got down and older. I had got out of school, but back when I was in high school, nigga, it was off the chain. Shit. Nigga, it was all everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, the niggas was out there, 25 on 25. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. Niggas everywhere. Everywhere you look, it's two or three niggas scrapping. You know what I'm saying? In front of the whole damn school. It's just mad. They had to pull so many police around there. Nigga, it'd be about damn near 40 cars to try to get that shit under control. You know what I'm saying? I just stopped even, that shit ain't, I was so glad to evolve out of that shit. I was glad that I just went right on off into my books, man. You know what I'm saying? I just went right on off into my books and became a loner, and just say, fuck this shit, man. Oh, yeah, I stay in the fucking house. I ain't got time for this shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is a story that is alleged that this guy was unalived in Detroit by another young brother who he disrespected. And if it ain't, you know what? And if it's just a story, whoever wrote it, you know what I'm saying? You got a very vivid imagination. And if just keep writing stories and shit. You know what I'm saying? You might, end up being a famous writer. Just don't change the topics. Keep your topics, and just like you're going places. You feel me? You're going places. I appreciate y'all, man. Hit the subscribe button if you're out there. If you have not subscribed, make sure you like the video. Give it a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. Click that link at the top of the chat and just check out the links in there. You feel what I'm saying? The general always got some magic. You know what I'm saying? So be a part of the BPC universe. You feel me? All right, I'll see y'all in a minute, family. Black Power.